Good morning. I'm State Representative Amy Ellick, and I represent the 111th District in Madison County. I'm here today with my colleagues to discuss the incredibly urgent issue of sexual abuse of students by educators and school staff. Sadly, it seems every week we hear of yet another case of sexual abuse of a student. Demanding the abuse stop is not enough. To actually make a difference, this General Assembly must take action on legislation before we adjourn next week. My House Bill 4241 passed the House unanimously on April 19th and now sits in assignments in the Senate. This bill protects students ages 18 and older in high schools by creating the offense of abuse of authority by an educator or authority figure. Due to the power differential between a student and teacher, any sexual conduct by an educator or staff member with a student, even if 18 or older, is an abuse of authority and must be criminal so that the offenders cannot just leave a job and move on to other opportunities where they can prey on children. We carefully crafted this legislation to anticipate any possible concerns by both the House and the Senate. Now this bill is in the Senate's hands, and I ask them today to move this bill to committee, hear the bill, and pass it. I am confident that if given the chance to hear this bill, the Senate will pass it. We just need that chance. If the Senate leaders have any concerns on this bill, let's work together to protect students all the way until their graduation day. Another bill I filed last spring, House Bill 1275, has renewed urgency. Again, sadly, this is because of a news story about a case of sexual abuse in Chicago public schools. CBS Chicago did an excellent story about what abuse victims are up against in court, with highly paid defense attorneys trying every trick in the book to reduce the settlement amounts paid to victims. One expert even claimed that sexual assault is not always traumatic and that a student-teacher relationship may not qualify as sexual abuse. I'm disgusted by her comments. We need the tools to make sure that sexual abuse of students is never excused. House Bill 1275 is very simple. It states that no contributory fault may be attributed to a child sexual abuse victim. And I'm working with fellow lawmakers now to get this bill through the GA in the next week and to make sure the language is very clear that by its very definition, sexual assault is traumatic. Yesterday, you may have seen that Representative Curtis Tarver spoke on this topic on the House floor, as well as Representatives Reich and Cabello. I am so grateful that House members from both sides of the aisle are united on this topic, and now we call on the Senate to finish this important work before we close out session. So now I'd like to hand it off to my colleague, Senator Terry Bryant.
Thank you all for being here today. I'm Senator Terry Bryant. I represent the 58th Senate District, which is the second most southern district in the state. And as Representative Ellick explained, House Bill 4241 addresses the concern of teachers who have custodial care, whether it's age 0 to 17, they also still have custodial care over those who are 18 to 21 years old. So high school students, a situation where teachers can affect grades, which can affect scholarships. And so the custodial care that they have over those students it can be a great amount of power. I was originally brought into the loop on this topic when my Youth Advisory Council met this past year, and they wanted some very strong language. In fact, they wanted teachers to lose their pensions. They wanted a felony conviction. And so I got to looking at the fact that there wasn't anything for that age group 18 to 21. I was shocked as a mother of now grown children and as a grandmother of one who's in high school and 5 more who will be going to high school to find out that there's actually no criminal charge for someone who affects a sexual relationship with a student who is under their custodial care. When I got looking at it, I found out, obviously already knew, that if you are a correctional officer, if you work for DHS, if you're an attorney, if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, you cannot have a sexual relationship with someone who's under your care. Why would that be different with a teacher at a very vulnerable age? And so I applaud Representative Ellick in the work that she's done on this. Hers is very narrowly crafted. HB 4241 takes into account the possibility that someone recently graduated and may come back to the school as an educator. And it got bipartisan support in the House, went through the House unanimously, came over to the Senate, and my bill was already being blocked in the Senate. I understood that. I crafted mine to be very harsh. But Representative Ellick's bill, as I picked it up in the Senate, I expected it to move. Unfortunately, it's not moving right now, but it is gaining some momentum. So we have bipartisan support on the bill in the Senate. However, it's not moving and we're running out of time. So we're holding this press conference today to say to our colleagues in the Senate who have control, the majority party has control over what bills get moved. Please look at HB 4241. Our kids cannot wait any longer to have this very serious issue addressed. I would like to be able to go home and tell those young people who have actually experienced this at their own high schools that their lawmakers heard them and acted.